Now, most people that I see are just focused on losing weight, but the problem with that is that if you're not doing the things correctly, you're going to lose a lot of muscle. If you lose a lot of muscle, weight loss is going to become more difficult. Hey, what's going on? So today I want to talk about one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of people make when trying to lose weight and tone, okay? And the reason I say tone is because tone is an incorrect term. Basically what that means is someone who is trying to look leaner, who are able to see, more definition in their muscles. So there's only two ways to tone. You can either increase the size of your muscles so it presses up against your skin so you see it more, or you can decrease the amount of body fat around the muscles so it's more visual. Those are the only two ways. There's no other way, okay? Now, one thing you have to know is that there is a difference between losing weight and losing fat, okay? Losing weight means it doesn't matter what kind of weight you lose. So you could lose water weight, muscle, and all that. That's just losing weight. Now, losing fat is exactly that, focused on losing fat, all right? Now, most people that I see are just focused on losing weight, but the problem with that is that if you're not doing the things correctly, you're going to lose a lot of muscle. If you lose a lot of muscle, weight loss is going to become more difficult. And then what I've seen happen I see happen to a lot of people, but I've also seen it happen to me, is when we get to our goal weight, right? The weight that we believed we would look this toned or whatever, we wind up not looking the way we wanted to look. And at that point, people say, okay, I got to my goal weight and now I want to tone. Now, it doesn't make sense because I just explained the only ways to tone is to increase the size of your muscle or to decrease the amount of body fat. So if you get to your goal weight and you still feel like you need to tone, guess what? You need to continue either losing fat, which means you're going to have to lose weight. There's no other way around it. Or you can put on more muscle, which means you're going to have to gain weight and then possibly cut down again. So you almost pretty much like added an extra step there that it wasn't really necessary. But I see a lot of people saying that. I hear this, I got to my goal weight and now I want to tone. And you're actually not at your goal weight. So that's the big problem I see. So how do you fix that? As much as possible, you want to try to maintain or just preserve the amount of muscle that you have while you're losing weight, okay? So in order to do that, that means you need to make sure that you're consuming an adequate amount of calories, okay? Yes, to lose weight, it's easy. You just stop eating. You're going to lose weight, I promise you, but you're going to lose muscle. You're going to lose, and it's going to become harder for you to lose weight. So by eating the right amount of calories, you're going to hold on to that muscle as much as possible. You're going to lose some, but you're going to preserve it much more than, cutting calories super low. So on that note, how do you figure that out? I mean, you can see any of these calorie trackers, any estimate that someone gives you, either if it's from an app or somebody tells you, it's an estimate. Nobody knows. The only way to know is for you to do it and see at what level you're actually maintaining your weight, and then you can start decreasing your food or increasing your activity to move the needle, okay? So that's the first thing. Make sure you're consuming an adequate amount of calories. The second thing, again, our body is either breaking down muscle or building muscle, okay? And I'm not talking about getting big and bulky. I'm just talking, our whole body's made of proteins, okay? So with that said, you need to make sure that you're consuming an adequate amount of protein, okay? Because if you're not, you're gonna lose muscle, all right? And there's a study that I just read by I think Alan Aragorn posted it on his Twitter, that even when consuming a high calorie surplus, which means you're gaining weight, when there was a little bit of protein, I think it was around 47 grams per day, there still showed a significant amount of muscle loss. Okay, so even in a high calories, if you're not consuming adequate protein, you will lose muscle. So you want to consume an adequate amount of protein. A good place to start is 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if I'm 170 or 200 pounds, let's say, then that's 200 grams of protein, and so on. Now, that can also, that's a starting point. That's not an end-all be-all. You can base it on like if your recovery, if you're sore, you may need more protein. I mean, and this is going beyond maybe your first couple weeks, because if you're just starting training, obviously you're going to be sore. So, I mean, beyond that, if you're still feeling that way, you might not be consuming enough protein. So we got that. And from there, if you can decrease or increase. If you are performing more weight training, obviously you're destroying your muscles, so breaking down your muscles more. You're going to need more, more protein to be able to recover, to repair itself. So start with that. Again, you can plug all these numbers in on MyFitnessPal, and I would highly recommend tracking your progress. Another thing you want to do is add resistance training to your workout routine. Now, this is not necessary to lose fat. You can lose fat by doing by walking, right? But resistance training is going to help build muscle. But here's the thing. I'll say it's going to help preserve muscle in this instance, because unless you're like a beginner, it's probably not going to happen where you're building muscle while you're in a calorie deficit, right? Typically, to build muscle, you need to eat more food. So by weight training while you're losing weight, that's pretty much going to help you maintain the muscle mass that you have as much as possible. Okay, and even the worst kind of training program that's not periodized or has some kind of progressive overload to it will work for a beginner. For those people who have been training for years, you want some kind of progression, right? Anyway, and the next thing is that just make sure that you are strategically increasing your activity and or decreasing your calories by setting a deadline to hit your goal. Okay, I see people trying to lose weight forever. For years, they've been trying to lose weight. That's not sustainable, because if the only ways to lose weight is to increase your activity and decrease your calories, how long can you go until you're eating nothing and you're exercising 24 hours a day? This is not possible, right? So give yourself, I recommend like 12 to 14 weeks where, hey, I'm going to do everything I can 100% to get to this goal by that time. And you may hit it, you may not, that's fine. And then go on something where, hey, let me bring my calories back up to a maintenance level. And then, I don't know, after a month or so, you can go at it again when your hormones are back to normal, they've recovered, and then you start losing fat again, if that makes sense. So I hope that helps you. Don't make this mistake, because it sucks to lose all of this weight and then wind up, I have to lose even more weight. Or what happened to me, in November 2019, I did this 6-week challenge. I wanted to get in better shape. I was already in decent shape, and 6 weeks I did everything. I had intermittent fasting. I cut out carbs. I was doing cardio every day. I was doing HIIT training all the time, 5 times a week. And in 6 weeks, I didn't see any difference. And even though I lost weight, I think I lost like 10 pounds. And it sucked because I didn't look the way I wanted to look. So at that point, I wound up putting on a whole bunch of weight to build muscle. So I went from 163 to 202, and then I cut down. I think it was from April, June, July, August. I think it was about 4 months. Maybe pushing it to 5, and then I went back to the maintenance strategy that I just shared with you. And then I got even leaner than I was before, even though I was at a higher weight. Okay, so I hope this video helps you. Take that. Don't make the mistake ever again. You save yourself a whole bunch of time and an extra step that you don't need to take. All right, see you next time.